right, guys. The MVP odds for 2024 have come out.
Yeah.
And we use Fanduel because it's America's #1 sportsbook. It's the only sportsbook we use here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And Deshaun Watson is listed among the candidates who are up to bet on for MVP. We're going to go in order. These are the top 5 guys with the shortest odds. So the best, most likely options to win the 2024 NFL MVP award. You have Patrick Mahomes at plus 650, Josh Allen at plus 800, Joe Burrow 10-1, CJ Stroud 11-1, and Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP, at 12-1.
How about that? How about CJ Stroud has better odds to win the MVP than the guy who just won the MVP?
Yeah, I don't know if I love that, but that's not the sake of this
I love
conversation.
him. Love CJ Stroud, but better odds than Lamar?
We can talk about that in a sec. Deshaun Watson, though, on the list, came in at 75-1.
Okay.
Now, to put a little context to that, these are some of the guys around the Deshaun Watson level. You had Anthony Richardson, who played 4.5 games last year at 30-1. Kirk Cousins coming off a season-ending injury at 40-1. Jared Goff, Justin Fields, Kyler Murray at 50-1. Baker Mayfield at 60-1. There's Deshaun at 75-1. And the quarterback below Deshaun Watson was Bryce Young at 100-1. So my question to you, G.
No, you go start. You can start with Earl.
Earl.
Start with Earl.
These odds too high, too low, just right, or completely way out of line?
All right, so when I seen this in a rundown yesterday, I was trying to figure out the best way to answer this question without trying to sound like I was avoiding it. I guess they out of line, but I really don't even give a damn about the MVP odds. I can care less about Deshaun Watson winning MVP or even being in a race. I just need Deshaun Watson healthy, balling out for the Cleveland Browns, and leading us on the playoff run. And if I'm being totally honest with myself, even if Deshaun Watson did ball out because of the other optics, I don't think he will win the MVP anyway. So for me personally, I don't care about the odds.
Well,
that's just me.
You should only care only in terms of if he's in the competition, that means he's having a great season, right? And I don't believe – I was talking about this with G. I think we were talking about this off the air yesterday.
Kind of a little
I
bit.
said, this idea that Deshaun Watson can't win the MVP because of the off-the-field stuff, I don't believe that. I believe he would lose – if it was a neck-and-neck battle with someone, he'd probably lose some votes because of that. But if he was a slam dunk choice to be the MVP, he'd win it. People would vote for him. I don't buy that there's that many voters that would not vote for him because of the off-the-field stuff. I just don't buy that. Now, I guess let's hope we find out because that means he's having an MVP caliber season. So, but you got to answer the question. What do you think about the odds?
Just right, too low, too high?
75-1. Are they right?
I think they're too low.
Fanduel way off here.
To answer your question, since I don't want to be that dude, I think the odds are way too low.
Okay. G, what about you?
Well, look, so we were having a conversation about listen, when people still vote for him.
Yeah.
The problem with it is the quarterback position, there's nobody running away with nothing. It's too stacked that people are going to have comparable numbers in most of the numbers you have. Unless you throw for 60 touchdowns.
I mean, Lamar won it. I don't think he should have won it running away, but he got it 49 out of 50 votes.
So Lamar Jackson this year, but you got to think of it like this too. But there were a lot of people who got in that conversation. People talk about
the year went
as
along.
a Brock Purdy. Purdy
but forget when you think people are going to vote. Base it on how you would vote.
Well, listen. This is it's basically laughable. I mean, if you go back and put this in here, it makes you almost question whether people are smart or not. Think about this.
Well, Vegas gets it right more often than they don't.
Listen, these earliest Vegas odds is crazy. CJ Stroud, second year MVP, not happening. Can we look at that? The Richardson
That's
stuff.
the one that really stood out to me.
He played 4 games, fellas.
Is he the 6th choice, Mike?
No, there's some more players between.
There's some guys in between the top 5 and Richardson.
But I mean, Justin Fields is talking about getting traded. How was Justin Fields at 50-1? I could understand if you want Jared Goff or whatever. I
actually don't think Fields is crazy at 50-1. The way I look at it, I think of this group, okay, I would actually put Goff and Watson and maybe Cousins towards the top of this group. Whatever number that should be, whether it's 40, I would say probably 40-1, something like that, 35-1. I don't know why Richardson's 30-1. That's insane to me.
That makes no sense to me.
That's crazy. But remember, sometimes the odds are what they are because of how people are betting. So there might have been a lot of early money on Anthony Richardson, and that's why his odds are. There may be a lot of fans that are very high on Anthony Richardson.
To win the MVP, you got to realize, like, to win the MVP, you got to have a really good record. So you got to.
Yes.
So you basically saying to win it, you got to pick that team to win 12, 13 games. And so you could basically narrow it down by, okay, what is their defense? What is their, like, what are their records going to be next year? How will we think it project? And then from there, say who's going to have the best stats out of the playoff teams that are going to be Super Bowl contenders.
Right.
And you could eliminate half these dudes just based on that.
Right, the teams. Yeah, now we don't know where Justin Fields is going to be. That's part of the reason I'd also, in addition to Watson, have Goff higher, because we know the Lions are going to be good. And he had a hell of a season this past year, Goff.
I like Goff
now,
higher.
ultimately, while I'm not confident that Watson's going to play at an MVP level, of that entire panel of players, he's got the most upside of all those guys. He's the only one in that group that has actually played at an MVP level in his career. None of those guys have. Cousins and Goff have been close,
right?
But they've never played as well as Deshaun Watson's best. Now, as we've talked about ad nauseum, Deshaun Watson's best is a while ago now. But the fact remains that none of those guys have ever played as well as Deshaun Watson did at his best, which is why I'd have him probably the highest on this chart, with Goff and Cousins right behind him, and then all the other guys. Richardson would probably be last on my list. I mean, Richardson and Murray. The Cardinals are going to be terrible.
Like
Kyler Murray's not winning an MVP.
I look at the Browns team and I'm like, okay, they're better than the Colts. They're better than the Vikings.
Right.
They're pretty much better than the Bears, the Cardinals,
well,
and
with
the Buccaneers.
Fields, we don't know where he's going to end up.
So
let's say he ends up on Pittsburgh,
okay,
or Atlanta, and they end up being a contender. It's possible.
I think
it's unlikely because I don't think he's that good a player.
No,
but
you know, what's the name is a little bit too crazy to me. Like I like C.J. Stroud. But
ahead of Lamar,
I don't know
how you can have
high. Like that's.
I mean, I wouldn't. Who's after Lamar? Who's the next group?
So Lamar was 5. Let me pull it up here real quick while I have it.
Probably Herbert, maybe.
Give me 1 sec.
Top 3: Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen. Right?
Steve, take that. Yeah.
Oh, Brock
Mahomes,
Purdy's
Allen,
probably
Burrow,
in that
Stroud.
second group. Dak's probably in that second group. So Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Stroud, Jackson.
So here's the next after those.
Can I guess?
Sure. 6.
I won't give them in order, but I'll say 6 through 10 are Dak, Purdy, Herbert,
Lawrence.
You have 3 of them.
Lawrence. That's a good one.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Dak, Purdy, Herbert. Oh, is it only quarterbacks or are there running backs in there?
There are running backs, but there's not a running back.
Not in the top 10.
Not Tua. Nope.
Who are we forgetting?
Jalen Hurts.
Oh, Jalen Hurts.
And Jordan Love is 7th.
Oh, Jordan Love. I'm sneaky high on Jordan Love this year.
I put him on my fantasy team last year.
He got a little.
And he got better. He got better. With
second half of the year, he's as good as anybody.
Lights out. I like him too on a sneaky tip. I think, but just all jokes aside, I really believe that Deshaun Watson is probably going to be. He's probably the leader when it comes to comeback player of the year. I mean, if you say he plays all the games, if you say Deshaun Watson starts his 16 games or whatever, he's the comeback player of the year. Because if you think about it, the only thing that's really like they went 5-1 when he played. They're gonna have a good. We assume that they're
really
gonna
4-1.
4-1. I don't like that little sneaky game. Either.
Right.
4-1. If the Browns make the playoffs and Deshaun Watson plays all the games, you have to assume that his numbers are going to be good.
Yeah.
And nobody's stock is as low as Deshaun Watson's right now as a quarterback. True. Nobody's. Baker's is higher.
Yeah.
Jordan Love's is higher. Lawrence, even the young guys is higher than his. So he got
Bryce Young.
That's the only one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's really just him and the rookie and second-year players that the guys who are lower, like Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett.
They're never getting a job
guys that have never been any good and may not even be starters next year. So I don't know. I think we all agree his odds should be better. I don't think he should be in the top 10, but he should be right after that.
No.
I'd put him in the. I think. Do you guys agree with me that he should be the top of that group?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, if he get
Which would put him like 11 amongst quarterbacks.
They go get Mike Evans. It's a whole new world. I feel like Princess
It's a
Jasmine.
different world.
So Richardson, by the way, who was the top of that list,
yeah.
is
What
15th.
is wrong with G
So
today?
that's 15.
Out of
So
pocket.
if you had him in that same
Oh, so
range,
who's 11 to 14?
Stafford's 11, Tua, Rodgers, and Trevor Lawrence all tied for 12.
I mean, I think that's fair to have those guys ahead of Watson. I would have him 15th in the odds.
By the
That's
way,
pretty good considering what he's done the last couple
the
of years.
world hates Tua. They're never giving him.
Why does everybody hate Tua so much?
They are not giving him no
What Tua
love.
do?
They just like if Tua throw for 6,000, they're not giving.
That's
him,
true.
They're not giving him nothing.
Tua is the most hated quarterback that has no off the field issues I've ever
None
seen.
at all.
It's not like he's gotten in trouble or he done anything bad. Everybody hates him.
Like-
he looks ugly. His throws are ugly.
Yeah,
Well, it's because the lefty. It's everything's
Yeah, but
backwards.
like Boomer looked good. Boomer was a good-looking lefty.
Did you guys ever see G. Bush? Did you see the clip of Tua where they reversed the video so it looked like he was throwing righty?
Yeah,
You guys see- and it looked. I swear, it's a
100
mental thing. I'm a lefty, so I am pro lefties. It looks so much better righty.
But because man, like, and then Tua's gear is nasty too, bro. It's nasty work. Like he got a gunner's face mask, bro. Like he looked like he's the dude that used to have to go down and break up the wedge busters. Like the dudes that just kamikaze themselves.
Yeah.
He got this gap in his face mask. It's nasty. It's big. I don't understand. And he be wearing regular.
He's not swaggy enough.
At all. Wearing cloth. He has one taped ankle. I don't care if your other ankle ain't hurt. You better tape both of them, bro. That looks nasty out there, bro.
Who can give Tua swag lessons? That's what we need to know.
Dion, that's it.
Maybe they need to work. Maybe he needs to work with Dion.
Swaggiest quarterback?
Mike Vick,
Swaggiest quarterback in the league right now.
Right now?
Lamar.
No.
Lamar
Maybe.
Jackson do got a dark visor on.
Or Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow's, he's
Jalen Hurts' shoe game is
Yesterday,
his
by the
pregame
way,
is nasty.
Jalen Hurts.
By the way, off the air yesterday, because I was just about to say this about Joe Burrow, but I got to give the context. So off the air yesterday, we were having this conversation, and Earl said a very nice thing to me. He goes, "You're invited to all the black barbecues."
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which was a very nice thing to say. And I was like, and then I was just thinking, well, Joe Burrow's also invited to all the black
What do you
barbecues,
mean?
isn't he?
He threw the cookout and barbecue, and
Yeah.
all the black people came. That's
Yeah,
how much.
that's another level.
That's another. He's like, yeah, come on over through. And at his cookouts, he play all kind of unedited music. It's crazy. That's another level of comfort, bro.
Yo.
Like, yeah, we going over to Joe's house, man.
I almost spit water all over the place.
Y'all crazy. Joe be out there in them ones.
Hey, Joe,
He be in them orange and black ones. Them boys be looking tough, too.
Is Joe Burrow the swaggiest white player
Yes.
since Joe Namath?
Yes, listen.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, what are you talking about? He had Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase on
Yeah.
his roster, and they like, oh, he
I'm
like.
trying to think of another
And he was
swaggy
at
white
LSU,
dude.
yeah.
And he
He
was
know
at
all about
LSU.
swag.
Well,
yeah.
while you're thinking of swaggy white
Wait, has
dudes,
there ever been a swaggy white dude in the NBA?
Of
Jason
course,
Williams.
you
Yeah,
just
white
said it
chocolate.
last year. Chris Mullen, you said it out there.
Oh, Chris
show.
Mullen was kind of
Chris
swaggy.
Mullen
Yeah,
had
that's
a
white
true.
chocolate, yeah.
I don't want to
That's
forget
a
about my
terrible
guy.
question.
Yeah, white chocolate
Terrible
too.
question.
Yeah.
So we asked the chat before we move on. We asked the chat. Deshaun's MVP odds 75-1. Too high, too low, just right. What do you think the chat voted?
Oh,
low?
99% too low.
G? Don't look, because I see you on your phone.
He cheating.
Low, too low.
Earl, what do you think?
Too low.
46% of 271 votes, just right.
Wow.
21% or 24% too high, 31% too low, but nearly a 50% vote for just right.
Well, that goes to we have a lot of fans that don't like Deshaun Watson.
I'll be
No,
telling-
I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say this. I think the chat just don't give a damn. I think they have
Nah,
the same mindset I have. I
No.
think they just want to see Deshaun
But
Watson.
if they
play
voted, they do
great,
give a damn.
And the Browns like just go win. Like
I mean, we were obsessed with Myles Garrett winning the Defensive Player of the Year. We talked about that a million times. Anyway, go ahead, Mike. What do we got next?